assisting you as you move through your days. And when you are open to it, we can reach out and impress your minds with the beauty and the grandeur of God Himself. I would impress upon you the many, many mansions, the many levels of consciousness that are available to you, and especially when you set aside the times to go within and turn off the world and move into these inner realms of love and light. Let these be very special times to you. And as you quiet your mind and your thoughts and your body, let your inner image move you upward as high as you want to go. Let your inner image bring to you the beautiful impressions of these higher realms. I tell you, my dear ones, there is no limit to what you can experience when you allow yourself to let go and to turn loose of any feeling of lack, to realize that you are pure spirit and that you are one with all life everywhere present in the whole of the universe. When you reach out with your thoughts to touch the spirit that we are, you are touching the spirit of all life, and you are in touch with all that you want to be. When you use the inner image, your imagination, as Donald calls it, the magic genie within you, to reach within, you can reach many, many levels, for they go on and on, almost without end. And when you have a question, when you need answers, if you can turn away from the so-called problem and open your consciousness and your mind to us, we can impress you with the answers. We can give you the understanding that you need. But you must first quiet yourself. You must first quiet the mind and the body and be still and allow us to be there in your thoughts. There are many times through the day that we are with you in thought that you may not be aware of. Many times you have a hunch about this, or you have an impression about something. And many times when you think it is you, your thoughts, it is us reaching out to you with God's love to impress you and to help you to stay on the narrow path of His light that lead you upward into His many mansions. Your physical realm is very limiting, my dear ones, and your concept of it is very limiting. But when you open your mind, when you open your heart to the light of God's love, even as you walk your physical realm, it can be a beauteous thing. You can be aware of nature. You can be aware of God's love that is everywhere present and His light of understanding. You see, whatever concepts that you hold within your mind is the framework that life gives you to live, is the awareness that you have at that moment. And when you can turn loose of any limitations or feeling of lack, and you can allow yourself the boundless wonder of the whole universe, then you can move into any part of it. My message to you tonight is to know that you are not limited in any way, only as you limit yourself. And when you can understand this and accept it, then you can move out of the ruts that you have made for yourself. You can move out of the patterns that hold you closer to the earth. And you can reach high, high, very high, into these many mansions that are prepared for you. And you can mold and shape the mansions that you want to experience. Life is a beauteous thing, a wondrous thing to behold. And when with your thoughts you probe the spirit of life and the spirit of God's love, and open your consciousness, God can pour into your consciousness so much for you to experience that you would be amazed. To bring this down into your language is a little difficult, because the wondrous beauty and glory of the universe, of the life that God is, expands outward much, much more than you have any concept of. The verities of life are many, many, and can fit any consciousness of God's children. And you can move in these variations of understanding and bring about the wonders and glories when you use God's love as your guide and let the light of His love go before you. In your quiet times of meditation, you can be still and you can just feel the presence of God. You can feel the life force that is within you, that is God. Or you can move higher in consciousness to experience these many mansions. There is no limit as to what you can do when you realize that you are truly not earthbound. You think that you are because of this cumbersome body that you wear. But in true reality, my dear ones, that is just a concept that you have. And when you turn loose of that concept, you can soar to the many levels that await you to experience them, even while you're in the physical body. When you turn loose of your physical body in this incarnation and come back home and leave your physical behind, then you will be able to experience whatever level of consciousness that you are on. And with the help of your teachers and guides, you can experience even more. The lesson tonight is helping you to realize and to understand that there is so much more than your physical plane. There's so much more to life. And that sometimes the heaviness of your physical plane drags you down, and you have you are discouraged at times. And I would have you to remember this lesson tonight, that you need not feel the heaviness of the earth plane, that you can lift your thoughts, your consciousness, way, way above the earth, and you can allow God's love and His light to lift you on the wings of thought and allow you to experience His beauty and His joy. When you lift your consciousness enough and you make contact with us on these other dimensions and get used to making this contact, you can be able to hear the celestial music. You can hear the vibrations that are very high, and as you lift your thoughts higher and higher, you are aware of this music, and if you so desire, you can allow it to ripple through your being and experience it not as just as hearing, but as being the music, being the vibrations of these higher realms. If I can manipulate your language a little bit to help you to understand that you can set aside the world several times a day and reach into these higher dimensions, it will help you then to face the world when you come back to it, and you will have a different attitude, a different vision of the world, a different feeling, because you realize that your physical plane and these higher dimensions are all one. There's only one life in all of existence. And when you can have this understanding to realize that you can bring the higher consciousness down to your physical plane and live it while you are going through your daily activities, you can do it. With practice, my dear ones, and letting God's love go before you, letting God's love pour through you and be a fountain that the world can draw upon, and letting His light shine from you by having only beautiful thoughts, knowing the truth, living in the consciousness of the awareness of God's presence within you at all times. These are some thoughts that I wanted to impress upon you this evening, and to help you to realize that there is so much more than what you have experienced in this incarnation on the physical plane. And some of you have reached into these higher dimensions, and some of you have not. But I tell you, even those of you who have touched in to these higher levels of God's love and light, make it more constant. Make it more often that you move into this several times a day. As you learn to bring this into your consciousness, you can take it into your physical life and make it a part of your daily existence until it becomes a habit, and then it is yours. It is yours in consciousness. Let us open the discussion now for questions and allow you to express your thoughts about what we've been talking about or whatever you would like to speak about. Are there questions tonight that you would speak of, or comments that you would make?
The voice that is speaking to it.
This is the one that set the pattern for you to go by 2,000 years ago and gave you the understanding that God is love and He is not to be feared. So many of your churches worship the idol, the man Jesus, when they should be following the ideal that He set down, the pattern that He gave you to go by, to live your life by. It was never meant for you to worship this entity that is speaking to you, for I am just as you are. I have gone through all the experiences that you have gone through in many incarnations. If this were not true, I could not help you. I could not set a pattern for you. If I did not understand where you have been and where you are going, but through experience, then my help with you would be nil. And it is so important that you look at what you read in your book that we call the Bible and think of me as a brother. Think of me as one that has gone a little ahead of you, but one that has experienced every experience that you have had and many more. I have, with God's love, been able to rise above your physical plane and overcome the world. And by doing this, I have set a pattern for you to go by. I have made footprints in the ethers for you to follow. And if you can tune in to these vibrations and these footprints and follow the pattern that I gave you to live by, then you can overcome the world. You can rise above all the fears and anxieties and all the drudgeries that this physical plane can throw at you. You need not be concerned or afraid of anything when you know the truth, and the truth will set you free, my dear ones. Are there other questions this evening? It is difficult sometimes for you to think of one such as I, who would come to speak with you. My dear ones, God has given me charge over this planet and 2 other planets, and it is my privilege, and it is a wonderful experience for me to work with you who are open, and more of you are opening up. The percentage is still small on your planet, but as you move into this new age that you call the Golden Age, you will realize that more incarnate into your physical who bring the understanding with them, and there will be others who will be great teachers. And so important. The leaders, as you call them, your politicians, will be, their places will be filled with those who bring the understanding of divine love with them, and this will help to change your world. It will help to raise up the vibrations and allow everyone to have the opportunity to know the truth and be set free from the fear that binds you to this planet. Are there other questions this evening?
Many scholars have spoken of the second coming and have given it various meanings. What was meant by the second coming?
There are several answers for this, my dear one, and it depends on what you mean by the first coming. You see, as I receive your impressions, the first coming was when I was born into your physical 2,000 years ago. Is this correct? Yes. And so, in your religions, many talk about the second coming. And in truth, my dear ones, I've been in the physical many times since I was born into your physical 2,000 years ago. But I have not been limited by the physical. And there are many times when I walk among you in a physical body and you know it not. Some of you I have been in contact with while walking in a physical body. I have the ability to come as a beggar, as a rich man, as any form or whatever I should choose. And I do come among you to help you at times. The second coming, as you think of it, is the awakening within you. Each one of you have the Christ Spirit. The only begotten Son of God is the Christ Spirit, and it is within each individual in the whole of the universe. And this second coming is the awakening of the Christ Spirit within you. And as you awaken to this understanding, and for some of you, I can see that who are new, this is a bit much for you, but try to take it with a grain of salt, as you might say, and realize that many, many things are possible, many things that your mind has not even begun to imagine are awaiting you in these many mansions that I have spoken of. But the second coming is the awakening within you as to your true identity, a child of God, the Christ Spirit. And as you awaken to this and are Christed through this awakening, then you are anointed with light, and your whole being is filled with light, and you become one in thought with all of life, as you always have been in reality. You are now a Christ. You are now, this moment, one with all life, but you know it not in consciousness. And when you reach the level of consciousness to where this awakens within you the true understanding of your Christhood, then you are anointed with light, divine light, and the illumination of this divine light gives you the understanding of your true identity, and then you take your place as a son of God, a daughter of God, and know it to be true. Now you may accept this in words, intellectually, but my dear ones, until you can live it, then it is not a reality to you. But as you awaken to this Christ being that you are, then you live the life, and you are a light into the world. Many of you are awakening slowly, and many of you are awakening rapidly, and you are becoming more of a light. But when you are Christed and the second coming has come for you, then you are very bright lights unto the world. Does this help your understanding?
Thank you.
Are there other questions this evening? Do not be intimidated by the words or the one who speaks or anything else, because, my dear ones, you are all brothers and sisters to each other and to everyone in the universe. You're all children of God. No one will ever be lost, as some of your churches teach. All belong to the family of life, and all will be lifted up to this Christ consciousness. But you have the freedom to dwell on the lower realms as long as you choose. But when you choose to turn loose of the lower dimensions, your darker thoughts, and move into the light, then you have many helpers from this side of life. And we can see when it is maybe a wish that you were at that place in consciousness, or whether it is a true thought, and that your timing is right, that you have experienced all that you need to experience on these lower dimensions, and that you are ready. And when that time comes, and I will tell you, in this circle, in this golden age that you are in now, the time will come for several of you, and you will reach that place in consciousness where you can be Christed. When this time comes, it will be a matter of turning loose, of giving value to the physical, more value than you do to your spiritual being. And when you awaken to your true identity, then you realize that the physical is a very small part of life, just a fraction of life. And you move then into the light of consciousness that shows you your true identity, and you identify with it. And as you do this, it happens sometimes over a period of time. For some it happens instantly, but for most it is a slower awakening. But there are those in the circle who will find that Christ consciousness in this next 2,000 years. Know this within the deepest part of your being, and when you choose to turn loose of the lower and reach to the higher in all sincerity, then it is there waiting for you. This sounds like a sermon, does it not? A little tonight. But it is the truth. And as it has been brought up in your questioning, it must be answered fully to your understanding. Are there other questions this evening?
Peter, have another question.
Yes.
Of course.
Since the physical seems to be the greatest obvious barrier to our feeling of oneness, to our understanding of oneness, and since it's an illusion in which we are sleeping, can you suggest any techniques for us to overcome this state of slumber?
Examine the involved.
Let me restate your statement, if I may. The physical is not the barrier. It is your concept of the physical. It is your thoughts of the physical. It is your belief that the physical holds you back. Yes, it is illusion because it is not eternal. It is here today and gone tomorrow. But it is a plane that you have chosen to experience and to have the experiences of. And when you turn loose of the physical and other lower dimensions, for there are other dimensions that are on the lower rounds, when you choose to do this, then the light of understanding will dawn within your consciousness. A technique is not a way of putting it. It is different for everyone who experiences it because you are all individuals and you will reach it a little different. It is a matter of growth. It is a matter of moving to a level. Let me give you an analogy of climbing a mountain. As you climb this mountain, you can stop and catch your breath, and you can look over the valley and see a long ways. But when you get to the top, to the summit, then you can see all around you. And it is when you get to the summit of your consciousness of understanding that the Christ light and the Christ Spirit can be lighted within you, and all can be known to you. But it is all you're doing. It is all there. And the way of doing it is known to you, not consciously at this moment, but within you is the pattern for you to go by. And there is a level of yourself that knows the way. And when you consciously choose to release these lower dimensions and choose the higher, then every step will be lighted for you. And your helpers that are around you will give you impressions and help you, but most of it comes from within yourself, for you are a divine being, and you have all knowledge and all wisdom, all power and all ability at this moment. You are just not using it because of your fascination and your attention and your value to the lower dimensions. As you release this value and give the value to spirit, to the higher dimensions, then the way will be shown. And it can be over a span of time. It can be, as you think of time, over several lifetimes. And there are times when it comes in a flash, as you think of it, because you have built the inroads to this in other lifetimes. Does this help your understanding?
Yeah, kind of way.
Yes. The technique, as you think of it, in your language, is the way of love, God's love. Love is the key to all things. And as you understand divine love and fill your being with divine love, and this can be your technique, and you fill every thought, every feeling, every attitude, every mood with divine love, then there's no room for anything else, and your whole being will be filled with light, and your consciousness will be lifted to the Christ Spirit. God bless you for asking. Are there other questions this evening?
There are some entities that are recall walk-ins that are on the earth plane right now. Could you tell me where they come from and why they're here?
There are many, many ways of growth, many ways that you do not know of now. And this idea of walk-ins has been here forever, you might say. And it has just recently been brought to light in your span of this short time, of this lifetime. But it is a time when one entity helps another by taking their place, when this entity has dropped to a lower consciousness and they feel helpless to get out of it. And when an entity who is a little higher in consciousness can take the body of the one who wishes to be out of the physical because they are not making progress and are continuing to drop lower, and they do not wish to go any lower. And this is agreed on not with just the two entities, but with their teachers and the lords of karma, as you think of them, and so forth. And it is a sort of a contract, as you would think of in your physical plane. And the agreement is made so that the entities around this one entity can also be served in a much greater way. Now this leaves more questions, does it not? Do you have more questions about this?
Oh, isn't there a specific reason why they're here coming in such large numbers right now?
In your thinking, you're saying they as if they were separate from you, my dear ones. They are your brothers and sisters that are in between incarnations, and they are coming in to help raise the consciousness of the planet. There are many, many other things that are going on besides walk-ins that you have not been enlightened about to help raise the consciousness of this planet in this new age. And it will take a few hundred years, a few centuries for this to be manifested and for it to show up. But there are many walk-ins, and there are many other things that are happening to help move the consciousness of the whole of the planet upward so that the destruction will be much less. When mankind has put thoughts into the ethers over a long period of time that are destructive, they have to reap this if they are not enlightened. If others can come and help them to be enlightened, then the reaping of the destruction can be lessened. But it all has to be balanced in the end. And balance of destruction thoughts can be wisdom, understanding, enlightenment. And so many things are being done to help bring about enlightenment. For example, this circle of light here tonight, and your teachers who come to speak to you are helping to do this, are helping to bring more light into your understanding and give you the greater understanding that you need to move higher in consciousness to keep pace with the rays and vibrations of this planet, the acceleration, I should say, of the vibrations that continue to be raised each day. Does this help your understanding?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. God bless you. You are all so very precious and so dear to us. And no matter what your past has been, no matter what negative patterns you're dealing with now, we do not hold this against you, my dear ones. Realize this within the depths of your being, that God loves you unconditionally. I love you unconditionally. And your teachers and your guides have to be in a place of consciousness where they can love you unconditionally, or they could not help you. Reach out every day with your thoughts and send God's love into all those on these dimensions that are around you. This will help them to help you more, because you have opened the door with your free will. You have asked for help. Continue to ask for help, not in a pleading way, but just open your minds and your hearts and send God's love to help the communication to be better between you and your invisible helpers. Are there other questions this evening?
Yes, I had a question.
Yes.
You said that you've been back on more than one occasion since the birth 2,000 years ago. and we talk about entities that are here between incarnation, why is it that the structured religions basically vehemently discourage people from thinking about incarnation, reincarnation?
This is where they are in their understanding, and they vehemently, as you say, believe what they believe, and so they have to live in that belief. And those who do not believe as they do believe, it is an opportunity for them to give them the freedom to believe as they choose. And this is true for everyone on this planet. No matter what religion, no matter what belief, no matter what understanding, where their growth is. And this is all the way from the highest saint, as you might say, to the lowest criminal on earth. God has given them the freedom to do and to grow at their own pace. And when you can understand this and give them the freedom also, when they need to be incarcerated, this is another thing, to keep them from continuing to harm the public at large, as you might say, but accept them as they are and where they are in their growth, and be at peace within yourself, realizing that they are where they are, and they have to grow from where they are to the next step. And one of the best ways of helping is to send them God's love, unlabeled, without condition, and release them to God. Does this help your understanding?
Somewhat. I still feel confused as to how more people can be brought into the light of understanding if the basic leaders that they look to have not grasped.
But they are at the understanding where they are. And let us look at this from another point of view. The masters that are serving your planet may look at you, at your place in growth, you see, and say the same thing, but they do not. They accept you where you are in your growth. And so learn to accept others and judge not, and release them to God. Send love to everyone on the planet every day, and know that everyone is moving higher at their own pace, and everyone will reach the light of understanding. This has been a beautiful evening, and we will continue this at another time and move higher in consciousness as we talk about these things. And I would have you to know that there are many, many here from what you would call the invisible side, many of your friends, and for those who are new here the first time, your teachers and your guides, and many others have come with you tonight from this side of the veil, and they want you to know that they are here and that they love you dearly. God bless every one of you, and may His love be with you, and may you be aware of His love as you walk this earth plane, and continually raise your consciousness higher every day so that you can be much more aware, so that you can move closer and closer to that Christ consciousness that you're moving into. God bless you, my dear ones, and good evening. Hold hands. Let us think of ourselves as coming together in the physical as we have been in spirit, bringing the consciousness of understanding down to the physical. Let the light that we have been given go with us as we leave this place this evening, and let it increase as we have our daily meditations and reach into the consciousness of spirit and the consciousness of the Master who walks with us every step of the way. And let us know that he is always there, and all of our loved ones are there with us. Let us be more conscious of their presence. Feel God's love going around this circle and multiplying many times, filling this room and spreading out over this city and covering this planet. Let us see it going into all the trouble spots in the world, to all the world leaders, to all those who are searching and know not where to look. Let us see God's love going ahead of us into this week and into this incarnation. And let us be aware of it, look for aware of his love and his light and his compassion for us. Let us be open that we may rise our consciousness higher every day. Thank you, Father. It was a nice feeling here tonight. A little resistant sometimes. Sometimes it's been.
I noticed that they're giving much more information than they ever did before. When I first started coming last year, for channeling, they were very vague about who was speaking. Messages were very vague, and they were just generalized. Now they actually give detail.
Yes.
Who they are, and just specific questions. So.
Well, as we come together every week, we are a little bit higher in consciousness, and we get used to the channeling and more open for it. And the more open we are, the more they can give us. And those who have been coming all along can assimilate the vibrations of the new ones that are here and bring them up with us.
I remember even the last time that he was channeled and talked to, and everyone was, we looked at me, questioned it, and it's really quiet past. And
No, I don't know.
the whole room full of people, man. I was sitting that close, feeling this. She been done, and I'm closing it. I can something. Well,
Definitely. So, more questions were asked, and that's good.
and the longer that he talks to us, come more comfortable with you. At first, we went in my question, and then you warm up a little bit.
Yeah.
That I always want to create the ice with.
That's my position.
We can
For
Breaking the ice.
breaking the ice.
when he answered Fallon's last question, I had a question that occurred to me, as he answered her question. And that was why, whether or not it's because of our free will that we perceive we progress to be so small, why not in one fell swoop, give some kind of encouraging sign or one or whatever that would make these, hundreds of thousands of people that believe that's the second coming.
They have their free will. They have free will.
Yeah, but with their free will, they're wishing to be it.
They're what?
They're creating their own reality with their free will and wanting to see some kind of, they wouldn't believe that they were anything. It was some.
That's true. They would think it's the work of the devil.
What you're saying is, you think that if they had some kind of affirmation, if this was the truth, and they are not, they would come forward and see their own light. No, I'm wondering if the reason why this doesn't happen is because our perception of time combined with our free will. Because we perceive it to be something that is, progressing so slowly, the opening of our consciousness, progressing so slowly, and these two, a lot of them. And also, as people are reading on the climate that they occurred from reflect with people on that fast, like for the solid and strong pressure they put on other people. And notice, I got been dealing with it for 30,000 years, and I'm just now, we just think that at that time still.
Oh, we have all eternity. It has no end. And there is no such thing as time. And when you look at it from a very high level, it's going very rapidly, really. It's because we're on the surface and we are involved with the concept of time that it seems